Members of the deaf community say, deaf people can do anything but hear. While this is the case for the average person who is deaf, there is a large community of deaf individuals who, because of additional disabling conditions, environmental and academic deficits, require specialized programs to achieve their goals. Sometimes referred to as low functioning, at risk, or underserved, they can overcome many obstacles by receiving services and supports designed to meet their needs and help them reach their goals. Ultimately, they can lead independent lives as contributing citizens. Hello, my name is Rhonda Swaney. I would like to introduce you to some remarkable people who live and work in communities across the country. Despite being faced with multiple challenges, disabilities, socioeconomic constraints, lack of resources, they've experienced success. One of these individuals is my son, Kelly, whom you will meet later. He and the others are amazing examples of individuals who've overcome the barriers to live, work, and play in their communities. But they've achieved their quality of life by chance. There is no system in place to sustain it. Attitudes have greatly changed over time, and people who are deaf enjoy more equal access and more employment opportunities. However, there is a group of people who are deaf who continue to face significant barriers to employment. There is a program just outside Denver, Colorado, housed at Goodwill Industries, that is the only one of its kind in the state. Here, a group of several deaf individuals are learning job skills in an environment where everyone uses their language. Hope is a participant in this program.
Hope really wants to work, but she needs supervision because of her disabilities. She has developmental disabilities, cognitive disabilities, mental health disabilities, nervous disorders. She has Tourette's, and she's obsessive. She can do well on her own, but in environments with no communication access, no support, and no sensitivity or understanding of her disability, the problems associated with her disabilities are exacerbated, regardless of medication. It's the support and supervision that she needs.
Before coming to Goodwill, Kathy Noble was Hope's vocational rehabilitation counselor and was helping her look for work.
And Kathy and Hope went out and were all set to go to work in a retail store. They'd been practicing, and Hope was learning how to make it out in the hearing community when the organization that owned the store decided that they couldn't have a disabled person in their store, that the liability issues were too big. The corporate office in New York decided that, not the people in the actual store in Adams County.
She was heartbroken. She really wanted to work. The VR heard about Goodwill. It wasn't exactly what she wanted, but she thought it would be fine. It's important to work in the community, so I came here with her as her job coach. It's been a wonderful experience here.
And before you knew it, whiz, boom, bang, there is now a whole deaf services program. I think 20 people. Kathy has an assistant. Hope never wants to leave there.
We can get people jobs, but that's only the beginning. That's only the beginning of what they need. They need someone that can work with them to teach them those related skills that a person needs to live in the community, to make decisions, to make judgment calls, to handle their own money oftentimes. Just these things that we all take for granted.
For the first time in her life, Hope is beginning to experience success. The opportunity to socialize with deaf peers and directly communicate with her supervisors and job coaches has helped her grow.
I would like to see Goodwill's deaf services expand. We could provide job placement services, set up a group home, and work more collaboratively with the resources out there so that there would be an integration with the services they get here. We can work as a team toward their success.
One difficulty in serving this population is that we don't have the people that are trained, that have, first of all, the natural skills, the communication skills, the love, the heart, the soul for serving this population. And then if we do have someone, we don't have the training available for them to work, to learn how to meet their needs. And what training there was once upon a time is no more.
A job coach like Kathy can make a huge difference in the lives of deaf people who have additional challenges. In Missoula, Montana, Jenny Bennett has found employment with the help of a job coach. Jenny is deaf and also has significant difficulties with vision and balance.
I worked like crazy to get them to believe me that she was extremely intelligent. And I said, she can do it. You watch, she can do it.
Well, at the time that Jenny was hired, I mean, it had never occurred to us to go out and search for somebody like Jenny or somebody with her disabilities. But when we were approached by her job coach and heard what she could do, it just seemed, given this is what we wanted to do. If Jenny had just walked in here off the street and applied for a job with us, I'm sure at the time we would not have considered it. I mean, I don't think it would even have been in our thoughts of the realms of possibilities. So it really took her job coach and making us aware of her, what she could do, to consider it. And then once we knew that, we wanted to do it.
6 months after this interview, we returned to Missoula to discover that Jenny had been promoted. People with disabilities have much to contribute to the workforce, to the community, and to society. We've seen how they rely on the support of trained counselors and job coaches to realize their true potential. My son Kelly is deaf and has additional disabilities. His father Charles and I have had to negotiate and renegotiate services for Kelly at every turn from the time he was born. In the process of making this program, Charles and I sat down for an interview to share Kelly's story. Kelly he's unique. There's no one like him in the world. And that isn't just because he beat the odds. Kelly had several obstacles to overcome in his education. The system was woefully unprepared to deal with his needs. With proper education at the earliest age possible, he might have been more prepared for a career. Even though we were aware of Kelly's limitations, we always celebrated his uniqueness in our family. He would continually surprise us with the extent of his intellectual ability. Kelly wanted to be independent right after he graduated from high school. It's one of the goals he had when he graduated from high school, to live in his own apartment, to move to Missoula and work.
Me and my sister live about
Kelly's life has changed since his interview. He now has a new job in the community.
He ordered 500 business cards, and I think he's pretty much given them all away. I mean, he's so proud to work here.
Kelly's counselors came in and really went through the effort of selling us on the idea that Kelly could contribute to the university, but it didn't take the effort that they put forward. We were open to the idea. Our thought was, let's bring Kelly in, fold him into the fabric of our department, get him accustomed to the work, get him into the routine of being on campus, and then we'll take him around campus. And so we kind of took over the selling, if you will. We're certainly not being his counselor, but we're telling other departments on campus the services that are available through Kelly. One of our biggest successes is having him work on a key mailing for the president's office. And it was something that would have been outsourced at great expense. We were able to do it in-house. And Kelly is so far ahead on the project that the president's office can't believe it. Kelly reminds us every day that there's still work to be done, and is the president's office meeting their deadlines. So it's been a great experience.
He's working on campus now, and he's involved with our program. Kelly's kind of got a voluntary role as far as, you know, he provides a lot of, I guess, focus and inspiration. I'm really proud of Kelly's family, just the support they've given, the direction. They knew that Kelly was going to be a very great force as far as contributing to society and not giving up on him. And it's really neat to see. They've got to be commended on that. And it just makes one focus a little bit on maybe the people that don't have that sort of structure, whether it's from a minority background or not. There needs to be something in place because there are people out there that may face some obstacles, but given a chance, I think can really contribute to society. And look what Kelly's doing here on a major university campus. It would just be nice to see some programs put in place and maybe some money put forward so that those people aren't left out in the cold.
We realize that we are the exception. It is rare for parents to be in the position to provide the level of support that we do. But we're forced to stay closely involved with Kelly's day-to-day life because of the lack of programs and services available to him. But it's been very difficult, you know. Certainly funding is an issue. Organized programs are an issue. Kelly can have the best case manager in the world, and if there aren't places to refer him to or programs to assist him, Kelly sits at home.
Mm-hmm. Those we call low-functioning deaf have a lot of issues. They have mental health issues or brain disorders or nervous disorders and developmental issues, none of which is their fault.
As for the term low functioning and deaf, none of us like that term. It's something that we're more or less stuck with because it came from the feds, funding was attached, but we don't like that term because it puts the blame on the individual. And it's not the individual's fault that they may be low functioning or at risk or whatever terminology you use. It can often be the result of deprivation from childhood on. They've never received appropriate communication training. They've never received appropriate educational training. They've never received they've never had the opportunities to socialize, to be with other deaf people, to get that incidental learning that we all take for granted that person, because of their lack of communication, is not privy to. So for that reason, they may be low functioning, but it's not their fault.
It might be medically or birth-related, environmental or genetic, or whatever. Naturally, when you're underdeveloped, you have a harder time comprehending things or understanding what you really need to do and what the steps are. Some of them don't know how to make decisions that can impact their lives legally, or medically, or life-wise, financially. They require more time to understand and learn and practice and have hands-on experience with things. After repeated exposure, they're fine. They can do it.
Every person has the right to reach their potential, advocate for themselves, and to be an equal participant in their community. People who are deaf and have additional challenges face barriers to that right. Funding is essential to create programs that provide the kind of unique supports they need.
We tried to apply for a grant for specific deaf services, but we were told it had to be all-inclusive and include hearing people with disabilities. They wanted us to serve all disabilities from the government's perspective. You know, that's a fine idea, but those who are hearing with disabilities already have lots of choices compared to those who are deaf. If that restriction was lifted, we could catch up, and then we can work together.
The system is set up to keep handicapped people or people who need financial assistance at a very much a poverty or below poverty level. If they have any income, then their benefits are cut. That's the kind of future Kelly has to look forward to. We want Kelly to be safe and happy. He is entitled to the same kinds of expectations any other person is. Kelly, Jenny, and Hope have experienced success in the workforce and in their social lives. They know that with the right combination of services, life's obstacles can be overcome. Individuals referred to as low functioning or at risk due to disability or lack of opportunity can achieve their dreams. But for every Kelly, Jenny, or Hope, there are tenfold the ones who have not tasted success. Kelly, Jenny, and Hope are the lucky ones, the exception, not the rule. They got to where they are by chance, not by a comprehensive, integrated approach that all individuals deserve. Tens of thousands experience service that is fragmented and poorly implemented and does not provide the building blocks for success. While Kelly, Jenny, and Hope fought for and achieved a level of success in their lives, there is no system in place to sustain it. Over the past 70 years, a number of national models and plans of service have been proposed, but none of them were funded. As recently as 2004, a task force created a new model of service delivery. This model is designed to create standards of service, cohesive programming, trained personnel, and a research component in order to collect data and monitor success. Of the nation's disability populations, this is one of the most underserved groups. They have a right to the American dream, a dream deferred because we have not valued the contributions of all citizens. With federal funding, the nationwide model can be implemented. We can make a difference.